This is the Impulsive Thinker Podcast, a show for high-achieving ADHD entrepreneurs. Together, we will inform and educate you about how to improve your self-awareness while developing systems, routines, and habits for conquering the entrepreneurial world. Here is your host, Andre Brisson.
Hey there, it's Andre, the Impulsive Thinker. This past week, we talked to Fred Feisman, and he was asking me about my ADHD simplified model. And the point that that hit him hard was about the talk around time blindness, which is one of the points of the anchor model of ADHD simplified. And after the conversation, we were talking offline, and it hit me what I did in the past and the work that I chased had a lot to do with my time blindness, especially my time horizon. And I wanted to reflect on this a little more to give you some insight and give you one word of advice at the end. And so I've got a structural engineering firms. We deal with niche market services in the structural engineering firm. So we deal with a lot of unique specialty emergency type stuff and various equipment. But at the same time, lately, we've been getting into bigger design build projects, which involves new buildings. And with that, I said it was recently, a few years now, shortly after I was diagnosed. So now, one thing was, I didn't chase those types of projects before diagnosis because I figured out, I've already done a few buildings and I figured that out, and it's boring now to do them. Too many other companies were doing it and I didn't want to compete with them. These are all stories I gave myself. And you know what? I had no real interest doing these projects because, like I said, I figured out how to design a building and I know what's involved. So I'm on to the next. So my top learner skill for Gallup's strengths is learner. Once I've figured something out, I go on to something else. And so once I start bringing on staff, I decide to stick with my testing of various equipments, unique interpretation of rules and regulations about unique standard or unique equipment or scenarios that were covered black and white in the regulations, and the emergency structural work. If something went wrong in the construction site, I was able to make decisions in the field on what to do next while the design engineers had challenges. And then the people would work from that and build from that, okay? But thinking with that, just with that kind of stuff, like that limited our growth by sticking with the stuff that I enjoyed the most, the testing. And the other thing too, the projects were no longer than 2 to 3 weeks because in the emergency, they wanted a quick turnaround. And you might think, it's because it's the urgency, the emergency made it challenging and novel, but it wasn't only that. And my team wanted to do more design build projects, do more buildings. And at the time I said no, because there's too many people, all the reasons I gave you before, all the excuses and the stories I gave myself, I didn't understand what it was about. I said, no, we're going to keep with this and go with this niche market thing and do these little quick jobs and be reactive and just do the stuff that's 2 to 3 weeks long and just do what a lot of engineers don't do. And I said, no. Okay. So now let's fast forward 8 years. I'm diagnosed. Okay. And when I learned about time blindness as an ADHD factor and time horizon, how far I can see in the future and still be on top of things. Okay. That was a big insight for me. All right. And that was why I didn't do long projects. Since it was no longer interesting, has a factor in it. But the biggest reason is for some reason I realized beyond 2 to 3 weeks, I have a hard time keeping track of stuff. And I didn't want to do it because it requires more work from me to make sure I don't lose track or find out I got to do a multi-million-dollar building in the next 2 days, which is actually a 2-month project, or I need 2 months to get it done properly, not 2 days. So I was staying away from those. And I think it has to do with my time horizon. And not only are they boring, but because I lose interest, but I didn't want to, it was too far out. Beyond 2 weeks, my time horizon's 2 weeks. Beyond that, that's an eternity. And I stayed away from it. So in order for me to stay interested and on track of stuff, I have to make sure it's within the 2 to 3 weeks. So therefore I can maintain my executive functioning for the 2-3 weeks and then be organized without a lot of additional work. So beyond that, it takes a lot of work to make sure I'm on top of things and I don't want to forget stuff. And a lot of that stuff, I realized I spent so much time staying on top of stuff that it ate up a lot of my creativity and a lot of my productivity time. And subconsciously, I think I said, I don't want to do it. So I'm sticking to these quick weeks, 2 to 3 week projects. Okay. But now what I know now is I have a team that wants to do these long-term projects. They don't find it boring. Like these construction projects is 1 year to 2 years long. Frick, that's a long, long time. And I don't want to do that. So, but the team is doing it. I stay out of it. They want to build it. They want to do it. Fine. But I told them they're not relying on me to help you with this project. When things don't go well, you need me quickly, I'm in, I help, I'm out. Okay. So the actual message here is what I ended up doing is I built my company based on my time horizon. And I stayed away from everything beyond it. And I didn't use my team effectively to use their abilities that has a longer time horizon, or they have the ability to deal with these long-term projects. I kept it all around me. So if I'm going to keep these things limiting my company growth on these quick 2-3 week jobs, it's a lot of stress, it's a lot of turnaround, it's a lot of this, quit that, start that. And a lot of people can't handle it. I love it. I enjoy it, but not everyone's wired that way. So me trying to force that on other people restricted my growth. And we could be a lot more advanced right now if we did these bigger projects, but it is what it is, and we're starting again. So basically, the message I got you for this short is, look at your company. Are you organizing and directing your company's growth and direction based on your own time horizon and your time blindness? Because in the end, what I just learned over the last few weeks was that my time blindness limited the growth of the company. So please, you as the entrepreneur, do not build your company based on your time horizon. Use your team, use the right people around you that you're able to grow and be bigger, but you stay in your lane, you stay in your game. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Impulsive Thinker podcast. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, rate, and review the show. It helps us get discovered by listeners like you. If you can share it with at least 2 other people, that would be greatly appreciated. I want to gift you the Shit List. It's a weekly planning tool that I developed to plan my week and focus my time. You can find it at our website at tacticalbts.com. That is tacticalbts.com. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Impulsive Thinker podcast. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for the show, please visit theimpulsivethinker.com. The Impulsive Thinker podcast is produced by Tactical Breakthroughs and hosted by Andre Brisson. Remember, ADHD is only a part of you, not all of you.